Why DefineCustomBoolVariable is re-executed after ereport error in PostgreSQL extensions. The problem: re-execution of DefineCustomBoolVariable on error. When defining a custom GUC, Grand Unified Configuration, Boolean variable in a PostgreSQL extension using DefineCustomBoolVariable, you may notice that if you call ereport error during your _pg_init function, your variable definition gets executed again on subsequent extension loads. For example, when the error condition triggers, the next time you try to load the extension, PostgreSQL complains about redefining the parameter. Why does this happen? PostgreSQL executes your _pg_init function every time the extension is loaded. When ereport error is called, PostgreSQL aborts and rolls back the current transaction, undoing all database changes. However, the call to DefineCustomBoolVariable is not transactional. If your function partially completes, defines the variable, before the error, the parameter remains registered globally, but the initialization function is retried again on the next load. On retry, DefineCustomBoolVariable sees the parameter is already defined and throws the temp to redefine parameter error. In simple terms, PostgreSQL does not roll back registration of your GUC variables when you trigger an error, leading to this tricky behavior. How to prevent multiple executions and errors. 1. Perform validation before defining the variable. Instead of defining your GUC variable then checking conditions that might trigger an error, validate early. If the invalid condition is met, call ereport error before the call to DefineCustomBoolVariable. Example: check if the GUC variable is already defined using find_option. Use the PostgreSQL internal function find_option, declared in utils/guc_tables.h, to detect if your GUC variable is already registered. Only call DefineCustomBoolVariable if it has not been defined yet. Example: this avoids the redefinition error after a failed initialization. Summary: DefineCustomBoolVariable is not transactional and persists through errors. When an error occurs during extension load, PostgreSQL retries _pg_init, causing redefinition attempts. Mitigate this by checking error conditions before defining GUC variables or by checking for existing parameters with find_option. By carefully ordering your initialization and making your GUC registration idempotent, you can safely handle errors without causing redefinition conflicts.